Correct. Alright guys, so what we're using on this is Blaster's engine degreaser. You can see this stuff works really, really well on engine bays and engines themselves, or greasy parts of your suspension. Anything underneath the car that has engine related grease or oils or fluids on it, this stuff's amazing to use. I highly recommend it. And it is made by Blaster, some guys that make PB Blaster. These guys have been around since 1957, made right here in America. They know what they're doing, and this stuff works really, really well. So we've been using it on the engine bay here, and you can see everything looks pretty much brand new. Comes right off, everything falls right off. We're just agitating a little bit because we're gonna prep for washing real quick. Once we put the power washer on, this thing should literally fall right off. So if you don't have a power washer though, this stuff is strong enough to where when you do go ahead and rinse a hose with a regular garden hose, it should, same thing, just fall right off. So yeah, check it out. I'll have a link for the description of this stuff if you want to check it out. See how the stuff goes. Getting ready to start on the front end of this thing. Got it all degreased and cleaned up already. Looks super, super good. So now we're gonna start tearing up the firewall, and that kind of leads into the interior. So there's a lot to go into this, and we're just gonna do everything one shot. So I've already prepped the frame with the degreaser. Ended up using the citrus degreaser from Blaster, and that's pretty much it. Some scrubbing tools and a high pressure power washer, courtesy of Chaz. Uses a service rig at Wet Detail, local detailer here in San Diego. Has very good stuff, so we use that to go ahead and get all the dirt and grease off. This is pretty much what we're left in with, is a very nice, consistent, non-greasy surface. So what we're gonna be doing from here is prepping everything for paint. So we're gonna do black rails, black firewall, very similar to the setup that I did in the F100 over here. But yeah, nothing too crazy. You can see everything in my F100 is just basic spray paint on the back firewall as well. I did kind of want to take this one a step further and shoot a base coat clear coat on it, or a single stage out of a gun on the firewall, just to make it that little bit extra, because one thing that every builder knows as they progress and do more and more cars is they get more and more talented and they get more and more experience. Well, I've done a lot of cars, I've done a lot of builds, and one thing that I've learned is I can do a little bit better in spray paint. So I kind of want to try that. Not saying it's what's going to happen, but we're going to go that route if we can. So running around to the interior to get all the hoses and everything else. We took the AC unit out. There was a factory air conditioning unit in this thing. So now we're kind of working on doing the key and all that stuff. So gauge is already out. Marcelo took that stuff out. If you remember back when we built this thing at Dylan McCool's place, we ended up having to bypass the key because when I bought the truck from Solomon, I was never given any keys for it. So Marty and I were smart enough not to cut the original plug. We actually made another attachment on the other side of it and basically made new wires to our key, which is what I've been driving the truck off this whole time. I would like to be able to fix that. So past Craig was actually somewhat nice to future Craig in the sense to where I didn't cut the plug. I just had to find a key ignition tumbler with a matching key. That's a little bit harder of a challenge, so I'm gonna try to do that. Marcelo's gonna get jamming on this thing. We're gonna be kind of filming 2 videos at once. I'll be in and out. It may not seem like I'm in this video too much. I don't really know, because I'm gonna be working on the engine over there. So we're gonna be filming 2 videos at once, basically at the same time, so I'm gonna be jumping between them as best I can. But overall, hopefully by the end of this video, we'll have a perfectly painted and nice and redone engine bay with a new setup all the way around. So let's get into it. front end of this thing, finishing getting the firewall torn off, and we're gonna go and repair these factory frame boogers. So these frames do not have good fabrication on them whatsoever. They're production welded, and they're just pretty much blasted on, stitched, and sent out the door. So we're gonna repair that, because when you look in these engine bays, the first thing you see is those welds. So as I come over here, you can actually see them. They'll run right over there, and you'll see the front half of it as it comes out underneath the motor mount on both sides. You'll be able to see more so on this side. So what I want to do is go ahead and do a little bit of grinding on this and lay a nice bead in there. We'll have Mr. Frankie Fab over there do his thing. He really wants to do this corner edge, so we're gonna let him do it as he finishes his top ramen over there. He just spent 15 minutes making his 5-minute ramen. You ready? Dialed. About that position.
Not good.
It's alright, you got a heat shield welding blanket to keep you safe.
Heat shield welding everything to keep me safe.
There you go.
You should make some heat shield welding pants.
Oh, that's an idea.
Some like overall, or like maybe a...
Oh, yeah, overall. Heat shield overalls, baby.
Oh, apron.
Aprons. Oh, yeah, that'd be nice. Alright, saw them on the website? Let me know. Alright, got this thing back inside. It's all clean. Got everything welded up. You can see Franklin went ahead and he burned up this factory seam on both sides, because these welds look absolutely terrible from the factory. They basically look like this. This is getting covered by the steering box. There's really no reason for us to reinforce it or anything like that. It's also bolted through the frame, so you're never gonna see that. So we did do this one on both sides, and it does look very, very good. So now we're gonna get ready to prep for paint, because now it's clean. So now we gotta get the metal surface clean. So I already did this side. We gotta do the front of the K-member, top, bottom of the rails, firewall, all that good stuff, and all the suspension. As you can see, we never painted it after we did the beams. So I'm gonna go jack it up, pull the wheels and tires off, get it on stands, pull the coil springs out, pull the shocks out, pull the radius arms off, and get the Heims off. So we're not painting those, and then we'll be able to go ahead. And later today, my buddy Dave is gonna cruise over, and we're gonna base coat, clear coat this whole thing. So firewall, whole front end. Let's get after it. What have I done? Yeah. Oh man, I'm not stressed. It'll be fine. It'll be done by Friday. So have the full beam assembly off the truck, and we're gonna go ahead and clean this. I'm gonna show you a pretty badass tool. It's called a needler, or needler gun, scaler, I guess. This is straight from Harbor Freight. I think this is a King one. These things are badass. So really, like you think like, oh, look at something like this is gonna suck to clean. Like literally gone in seconds. So these things are badass. I highly recommend going to the store and buying one of these. I'm gonna pretty much go over the entire thing. When we were bending the beams, then I realized at 4 in the morning that I shouldn't be making it look pretty. I should finish the truck. So coming back around this time, I'm actually gonna finish it, and we're gonna pull the drums off and go to a disc brake conversion. So we'll pull the spindle off, get the beams and everything prepped for paint. We're gonna shoot them on the truck, and then brand new disc brake parts will go on. We'll show you the whole conversion and everything on how to do it. So I'm gonna go and get these things cleaned up, and hopefully they look a lot better. This is the drum brake setup that is original to the truck, and I remember when I took this apart at Dylan McCool's place, when we first built it, we were like gonna put rotors on this thing. As you can see inside here, there's a huge groove, big groove all the way around it. We looked at that and we were like, well, let's put a wheel cylinder in it and put it back together, and I've driven it ever since. And you can see even the pads don't look like they're that bad. There's plenty of life. They're heat cracked for sure, because this thing weighs 5,000 pounds. But you can see it even left a groove in the pad itself, but no more of that. So this is a good spare set that I'll probably keep just to put on another truck, because it does have another wheel cylinder in it if I need to. But yeah, we're gonna put disc brakes on this thing. So 70 to 72 disc brake setup. Shut up! Firewall and frame. But then I'm going to try to split the kingpin and the spindle off this so we can paint them separately, so we got everything in pieces. And then here's the inside of the kingpin. This is grease. Look at this. It's like solid, really straight mud. That's going to have to get re-greased and re-shimmed, so I'm going to probably take a kingpin kit that I already have, re-shim this thing, split them, and then I can paint the beam and the spindle separately. So it should work a lot better, a little bit cleaner. So I'm going to try to split that. Hopefully the kingpin just slips right out. Sometimes you got to take a two-ton press to get them out. If that's the case, we're going to leave them alone. Ladies and germs, and while we're here taking things too far, we got everything masked off, it's all clean, frame's welded, clean, there's no garbage all over it. Marcelo wants to die, I want to die. Look at this. I got a pair of permanent sunglasses on right now just from the amount of crap on my face from cleaning this cross member. Yeah, both got new facial hair.
Yeah, all this dirt.
Yes.
Smell my makeup.
Yeah, it looks good on you.
Nice.
Got this thing all prepped up as good as we can. It's kind of one of the things I got to remind myself. Not a show truck, can't make it perfect. But Dave went ahead and seam sealed some spots up, got them masked up. And the master at work, it's not me, it's Dave. Appreciate you helping, buddy.
No problem.
So Dave has a lot of trucks that are a lot nicer than mine. He's been doing this a hell of a lot longer than me, so he's gonna show me the ropes on how to do this the right way. But went ahead and pretty much over everything all the way up to 400 grit. You can see it's got a lot of different textures in it, and these firewalls are nothing but not flat. There's not a flat spot on them, so you try to sand them out, they're just gonna be wavy no matter what, even after you paint them. And I mean, you can see on something like this, you're not gonna be able to tell, but you can definitely tell the firewalls are wavy. But we'll get it as good as we can. So the difference between these two trucks is this one has a rattle can on it, where this one's gonna have a base
Yeah,
and a
we'll
clear.
have to do
So
both.
that's gonna be a little bit of a change for me. I'm not used to doing the base coat clear coat stuff, but as trying to be a professional car builder as I am, I would like to do that. So that's where we're changing things up from the last ones that we've done. So it should come out pretty good. And we're shooting the firewall and the frame, same stuff, right? Or different? Yeah, just
Same
pretty much,
stuff.
literally, if you go firewall and down, and then we'll just do the whole thing, yeah, in one shot, which should be pretty rad. And we're just mixing 4 to 1 to 1, or?
This is 50-50.
Oh, because it's base clear.
Yes, it's base
Yeah,
clear.
I'm used to single stage. But yeah, that's sweet. Alright, our base is now done. Now we're throwing a clear on it. This is a very generic 4 to 1 to 1 clear. And you're gonna put a little black pigment in it just in case we miss the spot.
Yep, just in case we missed.
So, and this is what's really gonna give it that, put your arm in it, depth. Looks really, really good, you know, all the way down to the welds. Very, very pleased with it. But you can see it looks textured almost. It looks like it's rattle can. So once you throw the clear on it, that's what will totally bury everything in, and it'll look absolutely phenomenal. So.
Does not look like the same truck.
Just like that, front end of this thing is done. Look at that, you can see my reflection perfectly in the firewall. So Dave came and absolutely killed it on the firewall. Learned a lot. You know, he's a professional painter, he's been doing it for many, many, many years. He's done this 100 times, 100,000 times probably. And the results speak for themselves. Came in here, obviously the firewall was not very prepped. There was some metal work that needed to be done. There was some sanding that probably could have been done. There were some filler spots that could have been done. And in terms of just scuffing and shooting what was there, I could not be any more stoked with the outcome. And I couldn't thank Dave enough. Check him out on his Instagram if you want to see some badass stuff that he builds. I'm massively thankful for him coming out and spending the time and the effort to do this. It means the world to me, you know, especially with Marcelo's help. Massive thank you to him. Killing it on all the framework and everything else. Thank you, buddy. I appreciate you. You know, everybody helping along. You know, Franklin doing the welding on the front end. Just having a second set of hands on this truck is incredibly helpful just in terms of getting it done, because I've built a lot of these cars by myself. So having a second set of hands, or a third or a fourth set of hands, really does mean a lot. So thank your friends that help you on your cars, because you wouldn't be able to get them done without them. Again, thank you to Dave. Thing looks absolutely incredible. I mean, he's laying literal glass on this frame. I mean, you can see parts of the frame are mirror images off the gun. You know, I can color sand and buff this out if I really cared to, but this is a frame. Like, this is literally just straight over the metal, based. It looks great, you know, honestly. We grease and wax remover the whole thing, degreased it, prepped it, metal etched it, and then went straight into base, and it's awesome. You know, this looks absolutely fantastic. You know, put a direct light on it, looks great. When you see this thing with the motor in it underneath the hood, it's also gonna look fantastic. So that's why I try to say this as much as I can to a lot of you younger guys, is try to stay away from the rattle can. It's hard, it's easy. I know it's now, even more so today, it's not as cheap as it was. You know, when I was going through high school and I was doing this, you can get a can of spray paint for a couple bucks and it would be easier. Now a can of spray paint's almost 10 bucks. So realistically, you're not saving a lot of money relative to base coat, clear coat. So it's actually worth your more time. It's cheaper, best bang for the buck in terms of coverage to actually run a base coat like this. So I recommend learning, checking out the process. This was, he was just running a pretty basic mix ratio on the base. You know, learn your paint, learn what it wants. Most importantly, shoot a test panel. He's done this 100,000 times, so he doesn't need a test panel. And then just go ahead and lay it on and adjust as needed. He was able to adjust how much paint, how much air was coming out of his gun. But that gun he said he'd been using for 30 years, which is crazy to me. So just shows if you know what you're doing, you can take your time and it comes out good. And I mean, dude, this dude banged this thing out in less than 5 hours. colors. So Marcelo and I had a rusty frame this morning, sanded out the whole firewall, did the whole firewall today, and then did the entire frame today, and this is the outcome in 1 day. 1 day. Did 1 day of clean.
1 day.
And then 1 day of everything else.
Just one day grinding.
This entire job is a 2-day job. I started disassembling the suspension, and we do have a stuck kingpin. That kingpin is seized in that beam. So I'll have to take these to a machine shop tomorrow, get these blown out, or bring them to my press and get a torch on them, which are some tools that I'm missing at the moment. So I don't think I can do those myself. So, but everything else on this thing looks absolutely phenomenal. We're gonna pull the tape line off of it. I'm stoked. So again, hope you guys went in to learn something today. You're inspired, you wanna go work on your own truck, try this out. While you're there, might as well, right? If you're already getting your motor out, take everything else off, just shoot it. It would take you no longer than 2 days to do what we just did. It's worth the effort, it's worth the work. And we're gonna do the same thing on all the suspension. We're gonna paint all the suspension pieces. I think we're gonna do a different color. So let me know what color you guys wanna see on the suspension pieces. We did do a copper metallic bronze on my F100 for those of you guys that don't know when I did this truck. So it's all blacked out and it's got a very high metallic bronze on it. And I think we're gonna do something very similar on this truck as well, just to break up the colors instead of just doing black. So hope you guys went on to enjoy today's video. Drop a like on the video if you did. Massive thank you to Dave again for painting this thing, and Marcelo for absolutely busting ass on this dirty ass frame. You can see by my face, I have a permanent mask on this thing from all the grease underneath it. This was not a very clean vehicle by any means, but hope you guys went on to enjoy it. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. Check out my Instagram at NickTheCraig909 if you want to see all the sneak peek stuff. I'll see you guys in the next video. The Crick out. Later, guys. Yeah, you rub my truck. Woohoo!